In this video, you'll learn the difference between 이, 가, and eun-neun. We'll cover when to use each, practice with dialogues, and finish with a quick quiz and summary. Let's get started. Welcome to Korean Grammar for Beginners. Today, we'll look at 이, 가, and eun-neun, one of the most common and tricky grammar points in Korean. This is Learn Korean Grammar, Episode 2. 이, 가 versus eun-neun. What's the difference? 이 is pronounced 이, and 가 is pronounced 가. 이, 가 is used to mark the subject of a sentence. It shows who or what the sentence is about. 이, 가 marks the subject, the person or thing doing the action, or the one being described. It shows who is doing something or what is being described in the sentence. Let's look at an example. 학생이 가요. The student goes. Pronunciation, 학생이 가요. Now, if we remove 이 and just say 학생 가요, student goes, the sentence sounds awkward and incomplete in Korean. Without 이, it's not clear that the student is the subject. That's why we need 이, 가. It helps clearly show who the subject is in the sentence. Here's another example. 고양이가 예뻐요. The cat is pretty. Pronunciation. 고양이가 예뻐요. 고양이가 예뻐요. If you remove 가 and say 고양이 예뻐요, cat pretty, it still works, but it sounds more casual and the subject is less clear. So, using 이, 가 helps us clearly identify the subject even in simple sentences. Step 2. What does eun-neun mean? Un is pronounced un, and neun is pronounced dun. Eun-neun marks the topic of a sentence. eun-neun marks the topic of a sentence. It tells us what the sentence is mainly about, or what we are focusing on. It can also be used to show contrast between two things or to introduce something new in the conversation. That's why it's very common in daily Korean when introducing topics or making comparisons. Let's look at some examples. First, 저는 학생이에요, which means I'm a student. In this sentence, 저는 marks I as the topic. It shows that we're talking about myself, and then giving more information that I'm a student. This is how eun-neun works to set the focus of the sentence. Next, 이 책은 재미있어요, which means this book is interesting. Here, 이 책은 makes this book the topic of the sentence. We're focusing on the book and giving information about it, that it's interesting. This is another way eun-neun sets the topic and focus. If you remove eun and just say 이 책 재미있어요, this book interesting, the sentence is still understandable, but it sounds more casual and less structured. Without eun, the topic isn't clearly marked, especially in longer or more complex sentences. Adding eun helps emphasize that this book is the main topic we're talking about. Let's compare 이, 가 and eun-neun. 이, 가 is used to mark the subject, the person or thing doing the action or being described in the sentence. On the other hand, eun-neun marks the topic. It tells us what the sentence is mainly about or sets up a comparison. Understanding the difference between them helps your sentences sound more natural and clear in Korean. Here's a simple comparison. 고양이가 귀여워요 means the cat is cute. But if we say 고양이는 귀여워요, it means speaking of the cat, it's cute. So, 이가 focuses on who is doing or being described, while eun-neun sets the topic or adds contrast. Here's an example showing contrast. 고양이는 귀여워요. 강아지는 멋있어요. Cats are cute, but dogs are cool. In this sentence, eun-neun highlights the comparison between cats and dogs. It helps us focus on the difference between the two topics.
Let's look at a real conversation.
누가 왔어요? Who came? The answer is 선생님이 왔어요. The teacher came. We use 이, 가 to mark the subject we're asking about. Here's another example. 이 음식은 뭐예요? What is this food? The answer is 이것은 김치예요. This is kimchi. eun-neun is used to mark the topic. We're focusing on this food. Now, let's try a quick quiz. Fill in the blanks with 이, 가, eun-neun. Pause the video if you need more time. Let's check the answers. Number 1. 고양이가 귀여워요. Or 고양이는 귀여워요. Both are correct, but 가 marks the subject and 는 marks the topic. Number 2. 저는 학생이에요. Number 3. 누가 왔어요? Number 4. You can say 이 음식은 뭐예요? Or 이 음식이 뭐예요? 은 marks the topic and 이 marks the subject. Both are acceptable depending on context. Let's review what we learned today. 이가 marks the subject, who is doing the action or being described. eun-neun marks the topic, what the sentence is mainly about, or when you want to compare things. Use 이, 가 to answer specific questions like who or what. And use eun-neun to introduce a new topic or to show contrast. Great job! You've just learned how to use 이, 가, and eun-neun in Korean. Keep practicing and your Korean will sound more natural every day. Don't forget to subscribe for more Korean grammar lessons. See you next time!